Yo, 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 what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 505. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
In my restless dreams, I see that town, Silent Hill. But nah, you don't care about that.
You don't care about that. Carlos Romero.
Yo, yo, yo.
Brett Murdoch.
What up, people?
Richard Bailey Jr.
What's up, everybody?
And Brian Manjoma.
What's in a name? That which we call a turd by any other name will still smell as shit.
That's a fact. Oh man. Chris may or may not join us tonight. He didn't say he wasn't going to be here, but who knows? He's got childrens, so kids always throw things for a loop. It's funny because I was just literally talking about how I don't really make hard plans because they never end up going the way I plan. I'm not going to get into details here, but with kids it's like that. You may have plans, kid says something else. Anyway, speaking about change of plans, I guess that's a theme for tonight. So we already have, this is a Sunday show. Everything's usually laid out pretty well by the afternoon, right? All good to go. We have a lot of questions tonight, so thank you for you guys. And then all of a sudden, we get breaking news on a Sunday night, which is now our lead question. And shout out to Mob Hits for getting us that question fast because this news just dropped out of nowhere. Again, we're not used to Sunday night fucking news. We got to talk about Halo, bro. Fucking Halo. So as you guys may know, the Halo franchise has been headed by 343 Industries for many years. And the running joke among the gaming industry was, 343 Studios, the Halo Studio. Guess what? They're making it official. They're rebranding themselves as Halo Studios. And along with that, we learned that the next Halo game will be built on Unreal Engine 5. We got a 6.5-minute trailer and all that on a Sunday night.
We knew that, though. They were saying they already said that they were working on Unreal Engine, so yeah.
Yeah, well, I didn't know that part because I don't pay attention to Halo like that.
They mentioned it, before, like not as big of a news, but they were just like, yeah, we're going to be using, using this instead.
But Manny, since you're already talking, go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, as far as that goes, I reserve my judgment until they actually have something legitimate out. I mean, the little tech demo that they showed looks nice. It looks cool. It's Unreal Engine 5. Great. It means that they don't need to worry about making an engine, but let's see them make a game. They've been making Halo games for, ever since that studio was created to make Halo games, and they have failed at doing that for all those years. What makes this any different?
You got a new name, though.
They got a whole new name. All right, a new name and a logo. What does that matter? Is it still the same? Is it still the same people that's making these games? Seems like it is to me.
I have an answer for that, but Rich, I know you're chomping at the bit to get your thoughts out. I saw your message in one of our DMs on Twitter. So yeah, jump in, Rich. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my response is very similar to Manny's response. I personally don't give a damn about this news, and I'm speaking as someone that has played all the Halo games. I actually reviewed Halo 5 Guardians on the website. 343 listen, I would prefer these guys work on something else. I feel like this is once again too safe an approach for Microsoft to take. You could have these guys working on something totally different, but they have them working on this particular franchise, which I don't understand. And again, there wasn't anything different about, yes, they changed the name, the same people are there. But to me, it doesn't make sense because you have access to ID software that makes Doom. If you said that they were consulting or helping to make the next Halo game, then I would be interested because clearly they know how to make a very good first-person shooter. So to me, no doubt about it, the multiplayer in these Halo games has been good. But the single-player campaign, the story, and of course I had a lot of issues with Halo 5 Guardians, certain stuff that they made from a storytelling standpoint, and then there was no payoff. This is why I'm like, the game may look good, but the same people are behind it, so I see no reason to get excited about anything that they announced until, like Manny said, we actually see something.
Yep. Yeah, I did. I don't. It doesn't mean, to be honest, it doesn't mean a damn thing to me. Okay, new engine, great. It means a new engine. Okay, good, great. That means that you get your development time is slightly less because you have the support of Unreal. Commonly used engine. Everything under the sun is using Unreal. Even even from Metal Gear Solid 5 to Silent Hill 2 remake. So that's great. But what do you what other than that, what do you have? Because if it's the same old thing, then who cares?
Yeah, this is the hey, there's Chris. You know what? Since you jumped in, we're going to throw you right into the fire. What do you think about the news about 343 Studios rebranding itself as Halo Studios?
Well, I thought that was hilarious because that was practically their name.
Yep.
That's all they did is Halo. That's exactly why Bungie divested from Microsoft, is they didn't want to be the Halo studio, right? So what did Microsoft do? They founded 343 to just make Halo games. And so I don't know, renaming the studio, that's just rebranding and getting Unreal Engine, that's all nice. I think you need a heavy restructuring internally. Certain practices and scores should be eliminated, and you just go back to making, good stories and good experience, especially multiplayer, which Halo is supposed to be known for.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to Twitter right now. Apparently there were some finals going on tonight. I don't know what sport. I don't fucking know. But apparently they played this during those finals, so that would kind of explain why we got a Sunday reveal.
Yeah, it's Halo World Championships.
Okay.
Apparently, I don't know anything about it either, but apparently, yeah, that's when they announced it. Right after that. Okay,
all right. So that kind of makes sense then. I thought, because again, my tinfoil hat theory was like they're trying to get ahead of a leak. This is what I'm going to say, and apologies because this is me, comic books. This is the way I see it right now. DC is starting this whole all-in thing. They're like, oh, we're changing everything. We're going all in. We're doing all this stuff. Then they're doing all this absolute DC stuff, right? Expect like big changes coming. I'm like, how much change can you make when it's the same fucking people writing the same books? When Marvel did the Ultimate line back in the early 2000s, all those guys were not writing main Marvel books. It was brand new guys taking things in a brand new thing. So just like with DC right now, how can I expect 343, now known as Halo Studios, to do anything different when it's the same fucking people, right? So I'm with you, Manny. I'm very skeptical. Actually, I'm probably more skeptical about this because you said you'll wait and see. I already think this is going to be a disaster, so I'm jumping ahead of that. But I agree with your sentiment. If it's the same people, just a reskinned name, what's going to change?
Yeah. That's all they were willing to change was the name and we're using Unreal 5 and look at the beautiful environment. Yeah, but you have the same people who's been fucking up Halo so far. What's going to be different the next one?
Yeah, exactly. So go ahead, bro.
The whole thing with the name, it is just a ploy to make sure the 343 name doesn't stick. It already has a bad reputation at this point, so they don't want to go with that. Which is funny because a lot of people have been saying that they've changed it so they can be actually the Halo studio, like to define them making Halo, which is ironic because the only reason 343 was used is because it's a Halo reference. So obviously one is just more in the know than the other one. The other one's just laid out telling you what they are. I like you guys mentioned, this is just a PR move to try to make it seem like it's a different direction. The Unreal 5 engine news isn't a surprise, especially after the backlash they received from the unveiling of Halo Infinite and Craiggate. All of that had to do a lot with the engine and some of the limitations and the ray tracing stuff, and a lot of that had to do with the sort of the initial backlash of the unveiling of that game. And I'm not surprised that they announced that they are also working on multiple Halo titles, not just the Halo game, multiple Halo games.
Or they
So
are the
here's
Halo
thing.
Studio, baby.
Well, the Halo Studio. Well, and here's the thing: why you guys got to prove yourself. You can make one good Halo game. Don't spreading yourselves too thin into making multiple and be like, oh, we're making a whole bunch. It's like, can you make one good one, please? You know, can I take one good one for 100, Alex? Like it's ridiculous, man. I don't understand why they're bragging about this. Obviously, the Unreal 5 engine stuff is a gimme, like I mentioned, because they want, and Manny mentioned this. This removes a lot of overhead and a lot of development time from creating these games. So now they can churn out all of these Halo titles, good or bad, at a way faster pace. I don't know, man. I'm not too enthusiastic about this announcement. Not because the announcement is bad within itself, but just because, like Brian mentioned, the stuff with the turd. It's like, well, it still smells like a 343. So, they still have a bad, bad taste in their mouths.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, bro. Or whoever wanted to say something. All right, I'm going to take that as a no. We'll probably get more into this on the Thursday show. Again, this is kind of dropping now. Maybe we'll learn more, but I think we're kind of agreed. It's like, okay, you're changing the name, but it's the same fucking people. It's not really going to change anything. Got this the same people that gave us all those bad Halo games. Oh, a sudden change of name is going to just magically make you a different studio. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, stay tuned. But we obviously wanted to get on top of that, and all that. All right, let's move on to more questions. And again, shout out to everybody. You guys give us a lot of questions tonight, boy. All right, Cuban Boss. What do you guys make of reports claiming that Tencent might acquire Ubisoft? We briefly talked about this on the Thursday show. Again, nothing official yet, but I believe it. Ubisoft, they're in such dire straits. It's been like 3 weeks where like almost every single day there was something horrible with Ubisoft, whether it was, they're tanking stocks, the game sales, getting in trouble with Japan, all this shit is just compounding. And, I believe the last time I checked, their like stock was like valued at like 10 euros. It was like 88 before, it's like, phew,
damn,
tanking, so, the reports say that, and I think this one, it's a little bit, this part is a little bit more substantial, that basically the shareholders want the company to go private, and they want Yves Guillemot, the CEO, to be fired. I don't blame him. It's just bleeding money, so yeah, but as we said on the Thursday show, we're not surprised by this, but it does worry us that it's going to be Tencent potentially. I'd rather have Microsoft buy that shit.
There we go. 18 minutes and 36 seconds.
Yep. Wait, I'd rather have Microsoft buy it.
Remember what I mentioned last show is like we're gonna reach the point where folks are gonna say, well, we're tired of Microsoft acquiring all these studios, but eventually the public is gonna get to a point where it's like, oh, we can get this studio. And I mentioned Ubisoft as an example.
Yeah.
And slowly but surely, it's gonna be a sentiment throughout the gaming community.
So
I think we already. I think
bro.
there's a lot of people that already kind of feel like American developers are kind of like behind Japanese developers, but way ahead of Chinese developers.
Yeah. So, again, the Tencent thing is disturbing, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Are they gonna? The stock is so low. Are they gonna buy them for 10 cents a share?
They should. Yeah, I'd rather have but Microsoft isn't gonna. Remember, my personal theory is Microsoft isn't gonna buy any fucking studios for a while. They don't want Khan from the fucking FCC to come after them again. Yeah, the Khan. So they're gonna be like, all right, Ubisoft's up for grabs, but let's just chill right now. We don't want to get into any more bullshit. So it might be Tencent just going in there. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know what else to say that we didn't already say on the Thursday show. So go check out our thoughts on that. We got pretty extensive about all the troubles, all the woes that Ubisoft is facing recently. But yeah, none of us are surprised by this shit. But yeah, go check out the Thursday show. We go in depth into this one. All right, mob hits. Speaking by Ubisoft, would Star Wars Outlaws have fared better if it had established characters like Han Solo and Chewbacca? Now, remember, this game was built as like, hey, this game lets you live out your Han Solo dreams. Like, why not have Han Solo in the game then? How about that? But the problem is that would have helped, obviously. But the game still had other issues that would have compounded things, namely all the bugs, the apparent, like, kind of bland gameplay, just tired writing and all that. So that wouldn't have helped things, but having a recognizable character would have helped, for sure. But as you said, Manny, in which it's evident, people are tired of Star Wars right now because of all these dog shit Star Wars related things. So even if you had a game, even if, let's just say, sake of record, you had a game starring Han Solo, still keep the same name, Star Wars Outlaws, Han Solo, and the game was actually legitimately good, right? It would have faced a tough battle because because the name has been tarnished now.
I will say if it ended up being a good game, it would have suffered just exactly the same way as what was it? As the Guardians of the Galaxy game did.
Yes. The stink. Yeah.
The stink of the Star Wars franchise is so it's so bad.
It smells like banta poodoo.
that it's affecting everything around it, and that's what happened to Guardians of the Galaxy because of the shit, the stink of that Avengers game, and then also the slow decline of the Marvel franchises in general.
Yeah.
That game burned.
Yeah, so this game would have faced maybe it probably would have sold a little bit better, but there's other factors.
I don't even think Han Solo could have saved it.
I don't think so either. It could have.
He had his own movie. He had his own movie.
That one bombed.
That thing bombed pretty bad too.
Yeah.
No, I don't think anything could have. But again, like I understand why. Like at the time when they got the ability to do a Star Wars game, it was an exciting premise, right? It was like, oh wow, hey, look, other companies are going to make Star Wars games because EA shit the bed so badly, right? And maybe Ubisoft, the guys who made Assassin's Creed, could actually make a good Star Wars game. But was it 5 years down the line?
The Division.
I mean, it's the same studio. It's a Division, Assassin's Creed, an adventure. It is sort of adventure game. These guys made these great games. What would that be like if they made a Star Wars game? Well, now we found out.
It's bullshit. So yeah. Yeah, go ahead, Rich. What are your thoughts?
I just will make a comment and say, no, nothing would have saved this game. The Acolyte is straight up garbage. One of the worst shows that they've ever made. That last Star Wars franchise, the last most recent trilogy, also bad. So, yeah, the stink of the franchise definitely would not have helped this game. And I know that you guys mentioned in the past the EA Star Wars game. At least with that game, you play as a Jedi. I think that playing as a Jedi is a lot cooler than playing as this character in this game. So that's just my opinion. But no, nothing would have saved this game.
Yeah, no, I have to agree with that. You guys are funny in the chat right now. Syrian Air Force goes, Joker 2 says, hold my beer. And then Moffitt goes, the Crow reboot ups your wager. Talk about all these bombs we've seen this year. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yo, man, both those movies are a bunch of clowns.
Yeah, right?
Oh.
Yeah. Brett, you got any thoughts, man?
No, not other than the shit that you guys have put in, other than like sick burns, chat, sick burns.
I love it. Oh man, you guys are awesome. Yeah, there's not much more to say. Again, we talked about the Star Wars game the last episode too. Dead on arrival, you know.
I mean, just like, I mean, is anybody even who likes? I mean, I liked Star Wars. I wouldn't say love, but like I sure shit liked it. But like, fuck, man, I don't even know about it anymore. Like, were there any hardcore like? Even amongst the hardcore, like, fuck, man, I work at Dark Side Tattoo. At this point, we're like, I mean, you know, there's some other good media being put out a decade ago, so you know it's fine.
Well,
Man, it's.
I'll go ahead.
Oh, I heard an insane fan theory that still spoke volumes to me, and that was that the Hollywood writers are just trying to make companies bankrupt themselves so they can buy back their own shares by putting out drivel, so that that they can buy back their own shares and then release AI without people complaining. And I'm like, you know, the work some of these writers are putting out, it could seem that way. And the fact that such a conspiracy can be floated straight-faced and taken seriously by people, like, that's telling to me. So
That's wild, man. Go ahead, Carlos. What's up?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of things that have been said. The only thing that I was going to mention is I'm surprised Rich did not say this, because this is something Richard Bailey would say. Is like, well, if they would have named this game the Han Solo game, it would have just described how many people would play this. Just one.
That's a good one. Oh man, good. All right, man. Let's move on. We don't talk about the disaster anymore, unless more news comes out, which it probably will, because Ubisoft they're going through it right now, boy. All right, Ace Ali is sponsoring a Mob Hits question, so thank you for that. Okay, this one's kind of interesting, and both the next questions are about the PS5 Pro. People were initially turned off by the PS5 Pro's price, but many of those same people bought a PS5 Pro 30th anniversary console. Did Sony lay the perfect FOMO trap? For some, they did. Some motherfuckers like, what? Excuse me? You know, the same dudes that were like, I'm not paying $700 for a console, went ahead and bought $1,000 console instead, just because it looks like a fucking PS1. You know, so go ahead.
But look at all the stuff it comes with. If you were to buy all those things separately, it would actually be more expensive.
Yeah. So I think it was a good trap, because remember, we literally went from the first, you know, when the news dropped, everybody was like, what the fuck? This is horse shit. $700, fuck that. And then it became the most hype fucking thing when they announced the 30th anniversary. Literally coin flip, you know?
But if you notice, nobody's not nobody's buying the other one, but you know, the other one is still available.
Yeah. Well, because that's not the hotness. That's not a limited edition. You know.
Yeah, that's not the cool limited edition. But I still think people are still keeping to their thing, because it's like, okay, I could, you know, on one end I can get a really cool looking console that comes with a charger, one controller, and the Elite controller, and you know the stand and all that stuff for less than actually buying all those things together, and it comes with a shell that I actually want.
And does this mean you're changing your mind?
Change my mind on what? I mean, I would get that.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like the deal is a lot better when it comes to that than it comes to actually buying the console itself. But at the same time, it's like, you know, it's limited. So nobody has it anyway. It's probably all on eBay right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, I saw some people selling it for like $5,000 and shit. you know, being sold at that price point. But then, you know, what they do is they go ahead and flip it for more, you know. Very interesting. But yeah, I think it was a pretty good trap that Sony set up for sure. It's a fun question. This next question, I want to just jump into it because it's related. Genobreaker 26, that's not a name I'm too familiar with, so shout out to you. Also has another question later on. Okay, as much as you guys on the panel are swearing off the PS5 Pro, if you had the opportunity to purchase the 30th anniversary bundle at retail price, $700, would you do it?
Oh,
You mean the Pro or this or the
No, if you
the
had
Pro
the,
or
yeah,
the,
if you had the opportunity to buy the 30th anniversary for the price of the Pro of the regular Pro, would you do it?
No.
and it
Yes.
came with the same shit?
He didn't mention that. By the way, my answer is no, because it would still be the same problem. What are you going to play on this thing? The Last of Us remastered. You know?
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. So
I
no.
won't-
well, they remastered it.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, they
kind of.
remastered it.
Remastered.
They remastered it. You know. So that doesn't change my mind. You know, because he was wondering about this. Like, would you change your mind if you could just buy it regularly for $700? Fuck no. Fuck no. You know?
I mean, it's like, yeah, it's like, what's the play for it? Other than it looking really nice? You know, what's the thing?
That you could buy it for less than $1,000, like it actually costs, you know?
I don't know. I don't think, and that's not something I like. I can't see in investing in in this new console if is nothing that they can offer with it that says why I should have it other than it looks cool. Because right now I could go right now, you know, the other ones actually didn't sell out right away. You could still buy the slim version. You know, I would much if I was in line for a place now. If the situation was different and I hadn't already invested in a PlayStation 5 Slim, I probably would have went with the other model, the other anniversary model, just the regular Slim.
Yeah. By the way, and I know it's like colloquial, ubiquitous, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but I just got to say this because everybody uses the word, in this specific case, investing wrong. You're not investing in a console because the console is not going to make you more money. It's a depreciating asset. You know?
Yeah, it's not really an investment.
Like, you know how like people always say, "Oh, I invested in this." I'm like, no, that's not investing, bro. You know?
Yes.
But yeah, just had to throw that out there.
Unless you buying the console somehow generates you money.
Yeah, exactly. So I just find that kind of funny. You know, or just like the term, it's like, oh, I'm gonna be honest right now. It's like, were you being dishonest before? You know.
Listen. Are you implying that I wasn't?
When I say that again, Carlos.
No, he's like, listen, and I'll respond, yo, are you implying that I wasn't?
Yeah, that I wasn't. Excuse me.
Shout out to Reggie.
Yeah, you know, you already know, man. Reggie character, man. Listen. Yeah. So nobody on Throwdown. We're not buying this. We're not buying the Pro. You know.
Actually,
Brian.
You know me.
The
I
contrarian.
actually would, but not for the reasons that you think. I actually would do it as an investment, because if it's limited edition,
For that one,
there is the potential that 10, 15, 20 years down the road, it might be worth more than what you bought it.
Yeah, that's true.
So in that aspect, that would be an investment.
Yeah.
But it's hard to justify it. So it's kind of like, if I had that much money that I didn't really care, then yes, I probably would. But once again, it would probably just be to put somewhere, wait 20 years, and then sell it, rather than actually use it.
Yo, Brian.
Uh-oh.
What's the difference between that and a long-term scalper?
Good question. I don't know.
That's great. Oh man, good stuff. All right. Yeah, we're gonna be saving our money around here.
Guys, I did attempt to try to get you the fancy Pro.
Yeah. But yeah,
That was my initial thing when I tried to get on there, but unfortunately I couldn't get it.
But as Manny said, we did buy a PS5 Pro for you guys.
Yes, we do. We got you a Pro, so we got something coming up for the way one of you
tuned.
lucky folks out there get you one.
Like I said, we're keeping it for the real fans, the guys who've been with us.
But I don't know if there was a question on this, but we found out something very unfortunate about the new Pro, which is idiotic by Sony. So
the slave labor.
No.
Besides that,
besides that, but if you look at the Pro, what do you think? You look at the plates and you think, oh, those are compatible with the slim plates, right? No, they're not.
Uh-oh.
They're not at all. They're not at all. Compatible. According to a chart that was released by PlayStation, PlayStation Japan, that was on Amazon, it actually shows you a chart as to what the plates are compatible with, and the slim plates are not compatible with the Pro plate, with the Pro. So you can't buy let's say black plates from Sony, that they currently have on their site right now, and stick them on your PlayStation Pro.
Syrian Air Force, he goes, nothing has been confirmed. No, they put out a chart. They show you what is compatible. Yeah. Sony themselves put out a chart saying what is and isn't compatible. So that is actually, Manny just said, he got all that from PlayStation's actual website and, all that, so.
Yeah. So they had a compatibility chart, and they said whether the hard drive, it was from Japan, but it said it had, the disk drive that works for everything except for the obviously the two old PlayStations, right? The different plate SKUs, all that stuff. It tells you whatever if they work on the new Pro, and none of them, with the exception of the stand and the plates to the that come with the HDD. Other than that, everything is new. Idiotic. They could have literally been selling themselves some fucking those stupid plates right now. And a bunch of people already bought plates thinking, oh, hey, they're going to work. Fucking Sony's been really mysterious about any sort of information about all this shit. And it's really frustrating, especially when it came to that outage they had. Come on, guys, get your shit together.
Yeah, we're Snoop Dogg, man. Yo, fix your shit.
Yeah, fix your shit.
By the way, Syrian Air Force said he's kind of skeptical because he says that was PlayStation Japan. It may not be the same over here.
No, they all use the same things, dude. It's not like they get a different PlayStation over in Japan than they do over here in the States.
It's the same one, yeah.
It's the same one.
Yeah. I think you're holding out hope that it's going to be different here. It isn't,
No, it's not. It's maybe if you cut them, maybe if you stick them on with some crazy glue, that'll work. My guess is the clips that are inside of on the PlayStation Pro are different than the ones on the.
Damn, my man said he'll bet us. I don't know, but I don't think.
Bet what?
Yeah, he bet us money that you're wrong.
Nah, not wrong.
Yeah,
Well, you'll see.
Yeah.
You'll see.
Yeah, it's not good. Yeah,
it's already out there,
ahead, bro.
I just want to point out that there was a certain someone on this podcast who got very annoyed the fact that you couldn't use your PS4 controller to play PS5 games on your PS5.
Ryan?
I just want to point that out.
Yep, that's true. It's funny, man.
Do with that information as the people wish.
Yeah, you could get it. Syrian Air Force, we don't. Please, and I wanted to say this before. Please don't take our skepticism of the PS5 Pro as us saying anybody that buys it is stupid.
No.
We're not saying that at all.
No.
You bought the PS5 Pro?
Yeah.
Great. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
We're just saying for us, it's not worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to go for it, that's not go for it.
Yeah.
It's not
you bought it already.
It's not like you need our okay as to
you don't.
whether your thing is working. But I'm saying is in general, this was a missed opportunity. If you're making a console that looks to be modular, right? Both of the consoles are modular. They both use a lot of the same equipment. Why would you make a separate SKU for the plates that go on the damn thing?
Yeah. Exactly.
And also, I also want to add a clarification to
Uh-oh.
Tony's clarification. We're not saying it's not worth it. Obviously, we're saying it's not worth it for us
Yep.
at this price point, considering the fact that most of us have a PS5.
Yep. There you go.
So,
Yo, how you gonna
we're-
how you gonna add a clarification to my clarification?
we clarify it.
Yo,
Oh, man, let me
exhibit-
clarify your clarifier.
Yeah.
Clarify your
Hey,
clarification.
dog, I heard you like clarification, so I got a clarification for your clarification. Shout out to Exhibit, man. Anyway, go on.
Yes, it's like we're not saying that it's not worth it for everyone else, or if it was $500, some of us would consider buying it. It would have been
500, yeah,
much,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah. So, and we're also not saying that it's not a smart business decision to try to get as much money as they can, try to get the money. So, yeah, it's just for us, since we're more we already have PS5s for the most part. We got bills to pay. We got other stuff, priorities, and then also the fact that we're not too ecstatic about the generation. And the price increase, it just leads us to not be that enthused to purchase this type of console at this moment.
Yeah, but don't take that as us condemning this thing entirely and that people shouldn't buy that. We never said that.
Yeah, or that it's not a good console or anything like that.
Yeah, we're not saying that at all. All right, let's move on here. Kid Shaq, who's also hanging out with us tonight. The Silent Hill 2 Remake's Wikipedia page was recently locked after salty fans tried to rewrite its ratings. Apparently, these fans are mad because the game is getting positive reviews. Are you guys surprised by the fans' reaction to the review scores it got? Chris, I'll let you answer this one since you're Mr. Silent Hill.
Well, I'm not sure what the reviews were, but so what they're saying is people are editing the Wikipedia page to downgrade the scores.
Yeah, I guess.
I agree.
I wish he would have been more. But that's apparently. But apparently, like I think the harder question is like, why are fans mad that reviewers are scoring the game high?
I don't know, because there's a problem there's a lack of trust with reviews, right? Game reviews and whatever, because there seems to be a lot of reviews seem to put kind of agenda and politics over the actual quality of the title, like we've seen with like Black Myth Wukong and other titles where Stellar Blade, yeah. So there's a lack of trust there. So it's possible that the backlash is like, if it's getting a high review, then maybe that ESG score is really high and they don't want to play it. But here's the thing. I would just say, for me, I'm not really interested in Silent Hill 2. I don't care what they score it as. You can, if you play it yourself and leave your own review. Make your own score, right? You could do that on Metacritic and whatnot. You can leave a review, or on Steam. If you like it or don't like it. I don't think it's necessary to go, like, it's not advisable to go on Wikipedia and start fudging numbers. That seems pretty ridiculous to me.
Yeah.
The game will stand on its merits. If the reviewers are way off from the audience score, they usually lean towards the audience score. Same thing with movies, right? So it's like, experience it for yourself or don't, or just say, fuck it, I'm not touching this game for reasons, whatever. I am not touching it because I think the original one was fantastic. I didn't have much faith in Bloober Team. What I've seen hasn't impressed me. I might look at some playthroughs. I think Manny sent me a playthrough and I was going to look at it. But then I'll judge it from there. And if I feel like it's worth it, I will buy it. But right now, I don't feel like doing it. I don't think anyone should waste energy downgrading this game. Don't fudge numbers. Don't fuck with reviews. Don't, I don't know, write negative things on Wikipedia. Just, if you want to review the game yourself, go ahead and do it. There's tools to do it.
Yep.
That's what I'd say.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that sentiment. Don't go on Wikipedia, start, rewriting history, quote unquote. If, again, listen to what these people say, right? Don't like it, don't buy it. Simple as that. You don't have to be vocal on online. You don't have to start, posting shit on Twitter or whatever. Just don't buy the game, bro. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like the thing about a lot of these situations where it's like, yeah, it's like I think in general the money talks even more than the actual vocal part of it. And if you find that if a lot of people end up doing the same thing and not supporting it, then so be it. Then that means that they don't make anymore. That's all it means.
Yep.
So, again, like I don't understand why they want to kind of swap things around for some silly reason. Again, I would say when it comes to something like this, if you have a person you're a little bit on the fence of it, like right now you can watch the whole game if you want, or there's a couple of well-known sort of YouTubers that are very much Silent Hill fans, that'll probably give you the best idea as to whether this game is a genuine good remake or just a silly cash grab.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I understand why people are upset because Chris kind of brought it up. There's this disconnect between reviewers and actual fans. The actual fans are not happy with the changes made with this game, but reviewers are giving it glowing praise. So I get that, where they're coming from. But yeah, going on Wikipedia, changing shit, I'm just going to say it's fucking stupid. It's a waste of your goddamn time. Don't bother doing that, Don't bother giving this game attention. If you feel that strongly about it, don't give it attention. Just don't buy it. Simple as that. Like Manny said, let your wallet talk, All right. Go ahead. And anybody else? Go ahead, Brian.
I'm actually leaning to the idea that the story could be made up because it just doesn't sit well. It just feels weird to me that this would happen. Again, there's been no precedence of this happening for this reason beforehand, even though that there's been plenty of games that have gotten good praise, and yet this never happened beforehand. So why this game of all games? That's one thing. And the other thing is, in a world where Jussie Smollett happened, I'm very skeptical whenever stuff like this happens in general, and then there's like a narrative being posted, like, oh yeah, this is the reason why. It's like, okay, but why?
That's a great point, Brian.
That's a great point.
That's a great point. And Brian, to add to that, we've had instances where be like, oh, fan outrage on Twitter, and it's literally based off 2 tweets.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I really would love to, because I don't remember, but if it's possible, I'd love to find out who it was that made those changes, and then just do a deep dive into that person's background. Because again, it just really doesn't sit right with me that people would be doing this for that reason. It's like, oh yeah, Silent Hill got good reviews, so I'm going to edit the Wikipedia page, which can be edited back to change it so that, again, and why Wikipedia of all places?
Yeah.
Again, as I think Manny and Tony said, you just go through and change it on or put it on Metacritic. That's what the common thing is. Or go to the Steam page and just do it there. But Wikipedia of all places. That's what
I was saying.
Yeah, Brian, I think you convinced me. I think you convinced me. This story's probably bullshit. And people but it may be being perpetuated to make the fans look worse. Because again, like you said, we've seen it happen many times. I'm leaning towards where you're coming at it from, bro.
I agree with that because I found it odd. Why would anybody waste their time? Wikipedia.
Exactly. It just feels odd. And what I've learned is with stories like that, if something feels odd, then chances are it probably is.
Probably is. Yeah, you're right about that.
More often than not, it's probably just odd. So hence, again, I have no proof to back up what I'm saying. I'm just saying that my spider sense is tingling, and it just feels odd.
I think you're right.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think you're right. Again, now that I think about it, I think you're right.
I'm wrong. Yeah, I will stick my hand up and say, okay, I got it wrong this time. But at this point in time, it just feels odd, and we'll wait and see. I
could go down a whole rabbit hole here, but we do live in an era where fans are vilified all the time. The Variety article that recently came out, if you guys know, you know. So I think you're right about that, Brian. All right, moving on, because again, we got a lot of questions tonight. Jay Shep, if I know it's super early, but if you had to guess, what is 2024's Game of the Year nomination snub? As in, which game do you think will get screwed out of nomination? Feel free to seek help from Miss Cleo. I think I'm going to take that as Ask Carlos.
I'll tell you something that's gonna happen.
Uh-oh.
Black Myth Wukong is not gonna get nominated, and motherfuckers are gonna use it for the fucking culture wars. I
Yeah.
can already see the fucking tails, man.
Yeah, I was thinking that, or Stellar Blade.
Well,
One of them.
I need to jump in because this question is pertinent. So, the Golden Joystick Awards are going to be coming soon, and voting is now open, right? And they listed all the nominees. Guess which two games aren't nominated for anything? Wukong and Stellar Blade.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
My
There
guess-
you go.
My guess was Concord and Dustborn.
Yeah.
But I will say this.
The Concord and Dustborn are actually on there.
They are, yeah. They probably, I haven't checked myself, but they probably
Are you
would
serious?
be there. No, I got to check. We don't confirm that. We don't know that. But Celebrate and
Jesus Christ,
Wukong
I'm gonna
are
have a
not
heart attack here.
there. Yeah, they're not there. So
to be fair,
Go ahead.
to that, Wukong is nothing to go high
Yeah.
about. It's just a regular ass game.
yeah, it's Stellar Blade. That's kind of the big snub there. I'm like, people like that game, and it was actually really fucking good. Very interesting. It's not there. Kind of seems like not on this scale, but a little bit like the Harry Potter situation. Best-selling game of the year. Everybody who played it loved it. No nominations at all. Very interesting. If Hellblade 2 is going to take it home. So yeah, my vote goes to, if we're voting, right? My vote goes to Stellar Blade. Snub is game of the year snub. Absolutely.
I think that as well. I mean,
Game of the Year
you'd
snub
say
or
they'd even put
nomination?
it up for a vote.
It's going to be snubbed. It's going to be snubbed.
No.
That's the question. Like, which game was going to be snubbed? I think that's going to be the winner in that category. All right. But yeah, perfect timing with the Golden Joystick Awards. Like, isn't that interesting? By the way, I'm not surprised at all. Because again, that was a game that the journalists wanted to destroy too. All right, man. Another one from Mr. J. Shep. Brett, this one's for you, man.
Yo,
What are your thoughts on the Vessel of Hatred Diablo DLC that's coming?
really, they did a really bad job with how they balanced it. And, being like, hey guys, it's cool. We fixed it now. It feels too little too late. And I don't really feel like I'm missing anything either.
Yeah. Do you think that's like a sentiment a lot of the fans have?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that they know that. They're freaking out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't have any input to say, but I kind of agree with that. It's like, that's what happens when you screw things up, people,
I mean, it sucks because there was things that it did really well. Like I feel like Diablo 4 really excelled in its polish and narrative. It did a really good job on those aspects that I think better than a lot of Diablos have done before, to be honest. The little story was really great, but the other stuff that the other Diablos were good for kind of fell off. The replayability, the mechanics. Even Diablo 3 righted itself pretty quick compared to what Diablo 4 did. And even his looking back, like the cash shop that was so egregious, like they at least listened when the community lashed back on them. These guys took 6 months to get their shit together, and I'll even grant them, like, they kind of changed the format to a quasi MMO thing, but nobody fucking asked for that. So it just feels like a lot of like they did a lot of things nobody wanted except for their shareholders, and didn't, do a lot that this series was known for. So they didn't please fans, they pleased shareholders, which, when you got another game, I keep forgetting the name of it. It's very similar that is releasing a second game. Sorry, guys, I got a headache right now. I'm only halfway here.
Shout out to Bob Hits, by the way, for the bits, brother. Thank you.
There's another game that does what Diablo also does. I've talked about it before.
Not Path of Exile.
Path of Exile.
Oh, okay, I was right.
Exile.
Hey, that osmosis, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Nice.
Path of Exile. Diablo had a really good chance to show what it did because Path of Exile had taken its player base away. And it came out as, Path of Exile was on its last legs, and Path of Exile, now it's Path of Exile 2, but it was still heavy in development when Diablo would have been, like, really locking in its player base, and Diablo fumbled the ball. So, of course, they're fucking shit their pants, because Path of Exile 2's release is getting closer and closer. So, at this point, I say, like, just play Path of Exile. It's shamelessly, the game is free, but everything in the game, like every class you have to pay for and everything like that, but the community is still way happier than with Diablo, because at least it's very clear about what you're getting and how much it costs, and it's not trying to use any shady manipulation or shadow tactics to get it. So Diablo 4 can sit and spin. I doesn't mean I'll never play it again, but it they'd be hard pressed to get any more money out of me. And the fact that they gave me a free season, blah blah blah, and then the first expansion, honestly, after the fumble they should have done, this should have been free. Asking me to go in and pay another $50 fucking or whatever the fuck it is, because I checked and I was like, what the fuck? It's like $40-$50, something like that. No. Especially when I've seen, like, you guys want to, squeeze loot boxes and shit out of people for $20 a pop and get nothing out of it. It's not worth it, man. The value isn't there.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Moving on here. One subset. Another DLC related question. And Brett, you may as well just answer this one too. Actually, you know what? I'll answer, but I want your thoughts afterwards. He's asking, do you need to finish Starfield to play Shattered Space DLC? No, you don't, and the studio recommends you be at least level 35. But Brett, like you said, you're done with this anyway. You're not coming back, right?
I mean, it's on Game Pass. It's free. So,
are you gonna try it?
Maybe if I run out of other shit to play, maybe. It's not that Starfield is like an egregiously bad game, especially when you compare it to some of this other garbage. I don't get me wrong, Starfield, it has its warts. It really does. But some of the garbage that has been coming out, I feel like we're being a little too hard on Starfield, right? This shit wasn't Concord, right?
Nah.
So it's on Game Pass. So you know what? I'll give it a shot. That's one of the things that's good about Game Pass is the low barrier to entry. So, experimental games, unknown games, new games, they're all going to benefit real well from there. So, the fact that it's on there may be Starfield's saving grace, because maybe they made a really good expansion on top of a mediocre game, and giving it to people for relatively free is the way to get that out there and maybe win some hearts back.
Yeah. All right. Where are we now? Another one from. Actually, that was one subset. All right, here we go. Ooh, I like this guy. This is a good guy. Drunken Demon, loyal listener. He's been with Throwdown since day one, I would say. Good guy. His first question here. It's been over a year since Capcom's Pragmata was delayed, June 2023. and we've not heard any news since then. Should we be concerned? I have 2 words. Deep down. You guys remember that? I'm wondering if this is going to be another deep down situation.
Well, it's weird.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's similar, but with Deep Down, we only got that initial teaser, and then it was just memory hold. Never mentioned it again. Pragmata, they keep kicking the can down the road. They keep putting that little girl character up, and she keeps putting another year on it, right? And they put out that other teaser that was completely bonkers, and it's like, oh no, 2026. Sorry guys, we're sorry. It's like, why? Why are you apologizing for this? If it's not happening, just stop talking about it.
Yeah, pretty much. For no reason whatsoever. Actually, go ahead, Rich, if you're going to say something.
I just was going to say, no, I'm pretty sure the game is still coming. But, I mean, it's an honest question. Would you rather play Monster Hunter Wilds now or this game now? I mean, I think Capcom has a lot of games they're going to be dropping that they haven't really spoken much about. So I wouldn't worry about it too much yet.
Yeah. For no reason whatsoever, I want to hear Brian's thoughts on Drunken Demon's excellent question.
It's a very good question. I am slightly concerned just because of the radio silence. Because prior to this, we did get information every now and then, and especially after now, Tokyo Game Show has come and gone. And again, it's just been almost like a year and a half of just nothing, and it's just odd. Games don't usually do that unless something's gone wrong. So hence, should we be concerned? Because usually they'll just do like a trailer every year, some conference saying, yeah, it's still in the works, whatnot, and then it's either it slowly dies or it does a Final Fantasy 15 where it just does, oh yeah, it's now a whole new game, whole new name, here it is, it's coming out. So yeah, it's kind of like in this limbo state at the moment, so we kind of just don't know anything. So, yeah, getting concerned because again, it did look interesting. I like the idea of like, why is it that we're on the moon, and why is this girl so important? So,
yeah.
Hopefully it's not cancelled.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question. Again, look what happened to Deep Down. That got announced. People were hyped as fuck. Never saw the light of day. Never left that cave.
My tinfoil hat theory is I think they're trying something with RE Engine. They just can't get working.
Interesting.
So, I don't know what it is, but I think there's some technology they want to introduce in this game, and they just can't get it to work.
Yeah, it's not a bad theory. I guess we will or we won't find out. All right, got another one from Drunken Demon. This is a fun question. With the PS5 stacking up to be just the PS4 remastered, what's left to remaster for the PS6? Well, as we've said, there are just a handful of actual PS5 exclusives. So those will be remastered on PS6. That'll be Ratchet & Clank, Returnal, Spider-Man 2, Destruction All-Star. I already ran out of titles. I already ran out of titles. Yeah, not a lot to pick from this generation.
Concord.
Yeah, so slim pickings for the PS6 remasters because, PS5 kind of lived off those remasters of PS4 games.
I'm sorry, I take that back. That wasn't nice of me. It'll be a PS6 limited release.
There you go. But here's the thing, Assyrian Air Force, he says, Ragnarok and Forbidden West, yes, but those are technically PS4 games. But I agree with him. Those games will be remastered for the PS6, even though they're effectively remasters already. What a state we're in with gaming right now, man. Chris, the absolute state of gaming.
Yeah.
As we say. Oh boy. Again, Brian, for no reason whatsoever, do you have any to add here?
Well, Tony, you answered my question. Well, you answered what I was going to say. I just don't think there's anything left to remaster.
That's it.
It's going to be very slim pickings, and with the whole cost of development going up, even more so for that generation. Yeah, I think we're entering this weird plateau. It's like when the manga catches up to the anime catches up to like the manga, and then it hits that point where it just has to divert and go somewhere off. So maybe this will force them to get new IPs, or maybe it'll just crash the industry. I have no idea which way it's going to go.
Probably the latter. Oh, man. All right, moving on. Again, we still got a bunch of questions here. A Syrian Air Force who's been joining us all night. He goes, hey, everyone, hope we're doing well. Yeah, we are doing well. Thank you for asking. First question. What PlayStation game should Nixxes Studios remaster for PS5 and PC? Because they are the, kind of remaster studio now. But again, kind of the PC remaster studio. But yeah, it kind of goes back to the last question. What else is there left to remaster?
Wait, which consoles?
For PS5 and PC.
But remake, it could be any PlayStation title?
Yeah. He didn't specify which, so any.
We'll go with the classic answer. Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4. That would be a good one. That would be a good one. That'd be a bitch, but yeah, that would be good. That'd be great, actually. That's a good one. I'll go with that.
You don't have to install every map.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Remember that shit? Go take a smoke break.
On the later one,
They fixed that.
They fixed it where you can, you could essentially download all of them onto the hard drive, or install them all on the hard drive. The only reason why they did that on 4 is because when the PlayStation came out, what was it? It was like a 40 gig. It was like a 60 gig and a 20 gig.
That's
something
right.
like that, or 40 gig. It was something really low.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Anybody else? What other games would you want to see Nixxes remaster for PS5 and PC? PlayStation game. I'm gonna take that silence that we don't have anything to come up with.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're tired of remasters, bro. I think that's what it is. We're tired, fatigued.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next question. Okay, technically, I can't answer this one because even though I somewhat cover gaming for work, it's not my main thing, so I could talk about it. But when it comes to like hardware, technically, I'm not supposed to answer this stuff because it kind of conflict of interest. This is about
crossing the streams.
But I will let the fellas answer this one, obviously. Even though I do have thoughts on this one, but I got to keep my mouth shut, kind of. So how much do you guys think NVIDIA's 50 series GPUs will cost? I think the 5090 will start at $2,000 and the 5080 will start at $1,500. I think they will be expensive since AMD is backing away from making premium tier GPUs. For moving on, just for so you guys know, the 4090 launched, obviously, price range launched at $1499, and the 4080 was $1199, if I'm correct. And the last statement is true. AMD, they're kind of just going to focus on medium tier GPUs moving forward because that's the ones that actually sell the most. Anyway, I'll let Carlos and the other fellas answer this one fully, but I wanted to give that context for the pricing.
Yeah, the 5090 is gonna be priced way more than what it was with the 4090. The 2000 price doesn't seem too far fetched, but I will say maybe like $1699 would be something that I would think is something they can get away with. The 5080, 13 or 1400 maybe. Yeah, I mean NVIDIA, ever since the 30 series of GPUs, their focus has been solely on AI. So the video game part of the business is like secondary to everything else. So we'll see what they do. And I mean, Nvidia's been known for their hubris, and after becoming the second to third largest company in the world, I'm pretty sure that's been bloated more in the past recent years. I'm not complaining because it's helped me. But yeah, these graphics cards are going to be priced up significantly more than the last generation.
Yeah. And again, Carlos, they're kind of the only game in town now. If AMD's like, we're not going to do premium cards anymore. So NVIDIA could be like, we're going to charge whatever we want because people are going to buy them. So, yeah.
Yep.
By the way, because I had to look at this, I wasn't 100% sure. Yes, $1,599 is what the 4090 costs at launch. So, yeah, the 5090 is probably going to be more than that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Bray. Got any thoughts?
It's just so expensive.
I know, man. It's crazy, bro. So yeah, get ready. And the rumor is that they're going to be announced this year. So we'll find out soon.
But yeah, we got only a few months left.
Yep. Because they usually do it around November, you know? Yeah, so stay tuned for that. All right, next up, Jolly Yellow Nerd. What games did you expect Xbox to put on Game Pass after it acquired Activision Blizzard? The first question I asked myself was, how soon will the older Call of Duty games be on Game Pass? Black Ops 3 and anything older. The only Activision games I played outside of Destiny were the Marvel games. So I didn't really think about this, but yeah, I'm kind of surprised they haven't put those on Game Pass, but maybe some licensing shit they got to deal with, obviously, because Marvel. Again, we talked about this before. It would have been perfect synergy to have the Deadpool game and the Wolverine game put on Game Pass when Deadpool and Wolverine came out. That would have been perfect synergy. But yeah, maybe with Marvel, I don't know. But I don't really have anything to say because I don't really care about Activision, to be honest. If Adam was here, I know he'd probably have a bunch of answers, but did any of you guys think like, oh, this is going to come to Game Pass now?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, like they've also been fairly mysterious as to what things are going to put on it, what things are not going to put on it. It's really bad messaging that they have,
Yeah, that's true. All right, I'm going to guess nobody else cares either, so we'll move on.
Nah, don't care.
Yeah, sponsored question from Mr. Romudith. Good guy. He's sponsoring another one for Mob Hits. And this is something we talked about on the last show. With Jason Schreier's recent report that Xbox is a complete mess, and with the company releasing more controllers than exclusives, are we seeing the last signs of life before Xbox goes the way of Sega? They have another console coming out. It's supposed to be coming out 2026, so they're not bowing out of the console race just yet. What happens after that, who knows? But again, we've been saying this on Throwdown for better part of 10 years that Microsoft is a software company, so don't be surprised if eventually Xbox just becomes a brand, an app you could download, But it won't happen next generation. They already have their plans. And again, that's not even a rumor. That Xbox console that was revealed during the court case shit, because they had to divulge all their plans. So we know about that. That's coming, So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually happens, but it's not going to happen for a while, because people are expecting it to happen right now. Like no.
When you read the question out, it sounded like it's like Jason Schreier reporting on the state of Xbox and then it sounded like you said, and also on how it has more controllers and exclusives. I was like, what? Jason Schreier?
No, he didn't say that part. Yeah, he didn't say that part. That was Bob Hitt's little editorial there. Oh man! All right. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I just think they still got another they still got one left in the chamber to
Yeah.
for this console stuff. We'll see after that, because I feel like after that, Game Pass is going to be just completely fully fledged, including I don't know if the xCloud portion is still in beta, but hopefully by next generation it's out of that and doing everything it's supposed to do. Hopefully Game Pass is on Roku's and on Apple TVs. I'm still baffled as to why it hasn't. I'm guessing it has its issues with the revenue. Probably Apple and Roku probably want a big cut off of the revenue of those subscriptions, I'm guessing. But yeah, they need to add to all these, because their console sales are just getting worse and worse every generation. I don't know, maybe not last generation, because last generation was ridiculously bad, but this generation hasn't been as great as it used to be, at least for 360 days.
Young Savage on YouTube, what's going on, brother? Barry Brook goes, I sent a link to the Twitch CEO about how to get rid of these bots, but he banned me for spam. Are you serious? Yeah, because we've been getting a little bit more spam lately, which is not good. Like, how do you get more? Like, but click here for more followers. Some bullshit. It's fucking stupid, man. All right, maybe we should go on Kick, like the Hawk Tour girl. I'm not making that up, by the way. Fucking insane. All right, Cuban Boss, another one. I'm just going to call him the Yakuza Studio. Consistently releases a new Yakuza game every year by reusing assets from the previous game. This is a practice the industry should imitate to get games out faster. I personally would love more games in a good series per generation of consoles, and the reuse assets don't bother me at all. I mean, that's what sports games do.
They used to do that back in the day.
Mm-hmm. But now you got motherfuckers on Twitter going, "Oh, they're reusing animations."
I mean, yeah, like you just Grand Theft Auto did it a few times.
Oh yeah,
a bunch of companies did it where they released the new game, but in the same world or using the same assets as before. This isn't new. This isn't new stuff, guys.
Yeah. So, what do you think about his question? Do you think more studios should start doing it?
I mean, if it allows them to put more games on it, and that makes sense, sure.
Yeah, I think they should. If these games are costing $400 million, go ahead, Carlos.
You release a middle, like a smaller game within that, right? Obviously the development of this Yakuza game wasn't nearly as insane as the previous one, right? Where they made that whole island, or any of the some of the, when they did their new engine, the new Dragon engine, that's those titles. But I think, yeah, if it allows for them to put out another fun title between there, why not? And it's it's using a character that's a fan favorite.
Yeah, I'm not again. That's how games were back in the day. You just reuse assets in a clever way or whatever. But again, if studios are going to keep, if games are going to keep costing all that money, you're going to have to start doing something. So yeah, I'm not against that at all. I know some, but again, social media. Oh, look at that animation. It's the same one.
Yeah, like why if you're climbing, there's only so many ways you can climb, right? And if you already have a climbing animation that already works in a game, then why the hell not, right?
Yeah. Oh, the Spider-Man swinging the same way. How many different ways can you swing around New York, bro? I swear, man. Sometimes it's like it's because of people going, why doesn't this game have this? Why doesn't this game have that? That we have Applebee's of gaming, where they try to throw everything, try to please people. And then we get shit in the end, Focus. I said this many times. Focus, shout out to Yakuza Studio, by the way. Great studio over there. All right, man. Last two questions of the night, and they're both fighting game questions, so I get to indulge a little bit. I like how
Ronald.
I like how the fans are now asking more fighting game questions when I start talking about fighting games. Like, I've been talking about this shit for years, bro. But now,
nah, man, you said you back in the dojo. So they're like, yo, this fool's not back in the dojo.
He's
We gonna
back in the
start asking him
dojo?
some questions about some fighting games, man.
Let's go. Yes, I am back in the dojo. Yo, I'm gonna tell you this. This literally, I spent my entire weekend playing Street Fighter 6 and Marvel vs. Capcom while listening to the Triple KO podcast. It's fucking great. I was having a good time. Triple KO is a good podcast. It has Maximilian Dude, Justin Wong, and Matt Muscles on there, and what's cool about their show is like a lot of the topics are evergreen. Bosses, stages, mechanics. Like some of the episodes I'm listening to have been a little older, but they still hold up. By the way, one of my favorite ones I listened to today, Poverty Fighters. And the whole time I'm there, I'm like, you motherfuckers better bring up Where the Warrior. And yes, they did. I didn't know the term poverty fighter, but I instantly knew what it was like. It's those shitty fighting games that people are trying to jump on, like, oh, let's try to do our own Mortal Kombat. Let's try to do our own Street Fighter.
Oh, like Pit Fighter.
Like they brought up Pit Fighter, shit like that. And a lot of those Super Nintendo fighting games, that didn't have an arcade port. I was just in it, bro, this weekend. Anyway, first up, what's up, bro?
I got a quick question.
Why is it?
And Tony's I know Tony's answer.
Uh-oh.
But I'll still ask it. Speaking of poverty fighters, would PlayStation All Stars be considered a poverty fighter?
I don't think so.
Well, no, I mean, isn't it a brawler?
That's
it's
a brawler.
Just a clone
yeah.
of Smash Brothers.
No,
a fighting game.
But here's the thing: on that podcast, they do always bring up Smash Brothers, right? Which is interesting. Yeah, I know. I'm glad you brought that up, Carlos. I want to say this: I will never accept any of those games, Smash Brothers, the Looney Tunes game, whatever the fuck it is, Warner Brothers. I will never accept those games as fighting games. But I'm going to compromise. I will no longer argue with people. If they say, Smash Bros. Is my favorite fighting game, but my reaction was, that's not a fighting game. What the fuck is wrong with you? Now I'm like, that's cool. Because kind of like how a dragon and a wyvern aren't the same, but they're kind of in the same family. I get that, So I'll leave it be. You say Smash Bros. Is your favorite fighting game? That's cool. I'm not gonna argue anymore. So I think that's growth on a personal growth for me. Oh man. But Carlos, I don't think that is because the game actually played well for what it was, and it had an actual budget behind it.
Okay, so I thought part of that criteria, or at least the majority of that criteria, was it's just a blatant rip off of something else. Yeah, and it wasn't done at a better level or caliber.
Yeah, the rip-off part comes in, obviously, but it was done in a way that was good for what it was. I didn't like it, obviously, but it was good for what it was. So but like the Street Fighter movie game, that's a poverty fighter right there, Yeah. But just because the game was released on console only, not arcade, doesn't mean it's a poverty fighter. Eternal Champions, great game, not a poverty fighter. So I could go on and on about that, boy. Anyway, let's get to this question. Geno Breaker 26, another one. This is mainly for Tony since he's back on Street Fighter 6. Manny, you called it, He goes, I'm also thinking of jumping in, but I haven't played since Street Fighter 4. My best character was Ryu back then. Would you recommend him if I want to compete online? Thanks, as always, for the content, guys. You're welcome. Ryu is my main guy. I play online. I'm having no problems with him. Kicking a lot of ass. Yes, there are probably better, more quote-unquote, competitive fighters out there you could choose from. But if that's your dude, you stick with him. Again, I'm not having a problem with it. And I'll tell you this, you didn't miss much by skipping Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V is a lot of the reason I left the dojo. That game was so disappointing at launch that I was like, okay, this is the future of fighting games. It's just for the FGC. It's not for guys like me, even though I've been playing these fucking games since the beginning. Like, oh, it's not for me anymore. Okay, I'll step away. But Street Fighter 6 was like, oh, no, come back, bro. We got you, you know? Yeah, play your Ryu. You're good to go. You don't have to worry about that. You'll have fun. You know, so I'm playing with Ryu. In this game, they make you stick with one character. You have to like kind of go out of your way to switch characters and stuff, which is fine. So it's letting me get better with just Ryu and stuff. But yeah, you shouldn't have a problem, bro. Don't worry about Street Fighter 5. I think that game's going to be memory hold eventually because there's nothing about it that sticks out. Like in the end, and I know it became a better game in the end, but in the end, it doesn't have that thing. Like think about it like this, right? Street Fighter 2 was obviously Street Fighter 2. Legendary. That's its identity. It's kicked off the modern fighting game craze, right? Street Fighter 3, that had an identity, right? You know, visually gorgeous sprites and all that, the hip hop inspired music and all that had an identity. Street Fighter 4 really solidified 2.5D fighters. Yes, there were some that were trying kind of doing it, but that was the one that made it work. It's like, okay, you could have 3D characters, but in a 2D plane, and this works. Because the game originally had 3D hitboxes, and it just didn't feel like Street Fighter. It's like, okay, let's just make it play like regular Street Fighter, but you can have all these like 3D characters and stuff. That's its identity. Street Fighter 6, that has an identity too, right? You got the World Hub, you got all the cool spray can shit, and they have this like interesting mix of like, you know, highly detailed characters, but they're still slightly stylized. Street Fighter 5 doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have any of that. It's like a better looking Street Fighter 4, and even that's questionable too. Its identity, if it did have one, and it's a bad one to have, it's the FGC fighter. And that's why it ultimately bombed, you know? So, yeah. I will say this, though. I am worried about Street Fighter 7 because I'm noticing the pattern. Street Fighter 1, not good. Street Fighter 3, I know people like it, but that was very divisive, right? A lot of guys, me and Manny, we kind of checked out after that. We're like, I don't know about the Street Fighter 3. Mm-hmm. It looked gorgeous, but a lot of people checked out, right? Street Fighter 5, again, look at the history. Listen to Throwdown, we covered it. That game was part of the reason why we called Capcom Crapcom. You know, for a while it was not good. So the odd numbers are the kind of bad ones. So I'm worried about 7. But right now I'm enjoying 6. 6 is everything I wanted. Like again, I'm playing some online, but I like the fact that you have that battle hub where you just go there and chill. Yeah, you know, go to like arcade cabinet, fight with somebody, or go to the back of the area, and they got all the old arcade cabinets like Street Fighter, fucking like Final Fight, all this stuff. Great stuff, you know. And the single player content, it's bountiful. I'm still playing through this shit. They just keep adding more stuff, and even if you, and it's free, it's crazy, you know. Remember when games used to give you a lot of shit just out of the box? You don't really get too much of that. And I've kind of made peace with the whole season pass thing. I'm like, okay, if you're really about a specific fighting game, I understand why you would be okay with that, you know. Yeah, Street Fighter 6 is dope. You'll be fine with Ryu. You're good, you know. That's what I'm using, and I've been having a good time. All right, and the last question of the night from Mr. One Subset. Does the next Virtua Fighter have a chance to reclaim the fighting game throne from Tekken, Mortal Kombat, and Street Fighter? This is a tough one. This is a conversation I've been having with my friend Jeffrey Wilson for a good couple of years now, right? Here's the thing about Virtua Fighter. They specifically said, I don't remember when they said this, but they specifically said the reason we haven't had a new Virtua Fighter is because they want to try to find a way to innovate in the fighting game space. And it's true, every Virtua Fighter, for the most part, has been innovative in some way, right? The first Virtua Fighter obviously was the first 3D fighting game, right? The second one, apparently, and this is something I've kind of found out, there must have been another one that did this, but apparently it was one of the first games that had textured polygons. There was still 1994. Didn't see a lot of that, right? Virtua Fighter 3 had the whole plane thing. Like you could like fight on like not just a flat plane. You could have different planes and shit. And then 4 and 6 and 4 and 5 were more like just look how graphically awesome these games look. So they're trying to figure out how do we make this innovative, right? Compared to other games. I always said what makes it innovative is that it's Virtua Fighter. We haven't had one of these in fucking 15 years, right? But I understand the sentiment. The thing that distinguishes Virtua Fighter is the thing that may hold it back. No super moves. Those games do not have super moves. Games like Street Fighter, Tekken, Mortal Kombat live off of these flashy ass super moves. Virtua Fighter's not about that. If you add that to Virtua Fighter, it's gonna take away its identity, but it could help it at the same time. Manny, I'll let you go, and because I got something else I can help it. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, Tekken doesn't really have super moves.
Don't they have like special moves or something? Like
they
flashy
have
shit?
a move that They have a move that's flashy, but it's not like they're throwing a fireball or anything.
No,
like that.
They don't have anything like that. No.
It's like equivalent of doing like like Cage's flip move or like or Akira's like hand thing that pushes you or Takahashi's thing. It's a move that takes more energy, but it's not like special as like
it's not as like a super attack yet, but it still has really very flashy attacks like that. Virtua Fighter doesn't have anything like that. Not really, nothing that's like
other than like let's say like any of Jeffrey's or what's his face's moves, Wolf's moves, like those you can like high impact moves that are based off of real moves,
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's like they're not backed up by big flashing shit or glowing. You know what I'm saying? like the kind of shit.
Yes, Tekken always had like as far as 3, like even though their moves weren't like super special, they did have like whenever they hit, you get those flashes.
That's what
you hit.
Yeah, so Virtua Fighter, so that could hold it back, right? So I think I talked about this on another show. What I think could help Virtua Fighter, guest characters, man. If you have Kiryu and Majima from the Yakuza games, that'd be helpful. As a matter of fact, okay. So PlayStation has a sale right now where they're selling a bunch of shit for super discounts. I bought Virtua Fighter and all its DLCs. Guess what those DLCs have, Manny? Characters like skins and shit. So if you have and they have them for Yakuza and Tekken. So I'm like, yeah, why don't we have a little bit of thing? And this is what I think should happen. And I said this on a previous show. I'll say it again. Harada, who leads Tekken, loves Virtua Fighter. Obviously, he always talks highly of it. I think what'll be good for Tekken, the current season of Tekken 2 or next season, throw a Virtua Fighter character in there. Akira, Jackie, Sarah, whoever. Throw them in there so people go, yo, these Virtua Fighter characters are dope. And then people be like, hey, why don't we have our own Virtua Fighter? Where's Virtua Fighter at? So I think that could help because Tekken is the biggest 3D fighting game out there. Like, so it would be good, especially since Harada loves Virtua Fighter and all the fighting game creators all talk to each other. It would be good if we get the Virtua Fighter characters as special guests in Tekken, which would be fucking crazy, right? And then you get a proper Virtua Fighter. But I still don't know the answer to how do we distinguish Virtua Fighter. And I'll say this too. Virtua Fighter comes back, I still don't think it'll be a worldwide sensation. I think it'll still be a Japan thing. Virtua Fighter is a fucking religion in fucking Japan. It was good in the West too. Don't get me wrong, but it was a bigger deal in Japan. So if they could find a way to make it more palatable, because again, the reason it didn't really take off it took off in America, obviously, because no game looked like that. But again, it wasn't flashy like these other games. So they're going to need something. But I think it could work. We are now in the second golden age of fighting games. We've been in it basically since Street Fighter 4 brought it back. It's a damn shame that the game that started 3D fighting games hasn't made a return. It's a damn shame. Something I've been screaming about on this fucking podcast for years. Think about it like this, right? Throwdown, the original Throwdown started in 2012, right? That year, we got a re-release of Virtua Fighter 5. The game had already been out for 5 years. Even back then, I was saying, where the fuck is Virtua Fighter 6? You know, so I said this before, I got so fucking hyped when the Marvel vs. Capcom collection got announced, and I said, the only other thing that can make me as hyped as that is another Virtua Fighter. Whoo! You know, and I agree with Maximilian from, Maximilian dude. He said, if they bring back Virtua Fighter, drop to 6. Just call it Virtua Fighter. Start over. Reboot. Mortal Kombat did it, so why can't Virtua Fighter? It's not like there's a deep story you need to worry about. Literally, Virtua Fighter stories are just, I'm here in this tournament to get stronger. That's literally it. You know, like there's no crazy world domination shit going on like in every fighting game. I don't know what's going on over there with that robot, but generally speaking, simple shit. I'm not saying you need to remake everything, just reboot it. You know, man, I would lose my fucking shit if that happens. You know, but yeah, Virtua Fighter would be dope, but we'll see. All right, man, that's gonna start doing it for us. Rich, what's going on with the coalition this week, sir?
Yes, so earlier tonight, Mr. Adam Vale, Carlos Romero, and myself recorded the latest episode of the I Am Negan podcast for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon.
Ooh. Daryl Dixon.
And it actually was a good episode. We had a very good discussion on it. If you are a Walking Dead fan, I would encourage you to check out the website as well as the Coalition YouTube channel because the video should be up right now. As for other things happening on the Coalition, we're in a very busy month right now with gaming. So there's a lot of reviews that are being worked on, a lot of upcoming games. So stay tuned to the website as well as the YouTube channel, because you're definitely going to see a lot of content coming starting this week and pretty much for the rest of the month.
Hell yeah. Good stuff. Kishak, I see your question. I'm going to save that for the Thursday show because that's kind of a new story, and we got to start wrapping up here. It's about Saudi Arabia wanting to buy a bigger stake of Nintendo. So I'm going to save that as a topic for the Thursday show because I think that's a worthwhile one. Yeah. All right. Let's start wrapping up here. So make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Subscribe on YouTube and join the Discord. And also make sure you follow us on every podcast app. Links to everything down below. Once again, our host Tony Polanco. And tonight I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Brett Murdoch. Give him some time here. It's been real party people. Oh, there he is. Come in.
Peace.
Hey, Richard Bailey Jr.
Have a good week, everybody.
And Brian Manjoma.
I honestly cannot wait until Capcom announces the Resident Evil 5 remake.
I thought they already did, but no, you're right. It's coming. But Brian, will they announce Resident Evil 6, though?
That's why, because they definitely have to.
So do you think they're not going to announce 5 just because they don't want to be trapped with 6?
Good idea, yeah. But come on, though. They have to.
I want them to go to mainline. I want 9.
Ooh.
I want whatever comes after Village.
Yeah, like fuck the remasters. Let's get a new game. I agree with that. All right, people. We'll see you on Thursday. Later.